Okay, when you do the driver's side here, we need to get this cover off. It's in the way. And there's just three. These are 8mm. Basically, they're like little screws and bolts. So we get this one, and then there's these two other ones right here. Take those off. Get this thing out of the way so we can get a better look at this side. These two over on this side are actually 10mm. So get these two off. Okay, we're impeded over here on the driver's side by a number of components. The very first plug toward the front of the truck, I can't even see it all. So we're going to at least attempt to move this power steering bracket. This is 8mm small screw/bolts here. So I'm going to take all three of these out and see if we can't improve our access. Okay, so with the three of those out, you can now swivel this bracket out of the way. Hey, and there's number one. There's our first plug there, coil. So that definitely is going to make that one. That one's going to be easy, and they're going to get progressively harder as we go back toward the firewall. So this first one's just going to be a matter now of getting in and pulling out the fuel injector cable and giving a squeeze and a pull on the coil. So now there's our coil screw, so we'll take that one out and do it. Okay, here I am high, just sitting on top of the engine. And that's what's going to be my working position here from this side. To get this number one plug, I've gone to like 12 and a 3 of 15 inches worth of extension, just because I want it to get up above this air intake. This truck has about 95,000 miles on it, and I'm noticing the gap as these plugs come out considerably wider than it should be. There's some wear on them. The second one's in the front, just right here. We're going to unplug this connector here, a little bit in the way, get it off to the side. And there's a couple of lines here, rubber lines, and I'm going to just pull back. I think I'm just going to get a zip tie and zip tie them back, so then we can get at the rest of the removal process. Okay, so on this second one, I've zip tied the wires out of the way here. You see it up here, to give a little more room. Get in here, making it easier to unplug it, unplug the injector and the coil. Now also we can get straight down in there with our socket and ratchet. Okay, so we'll get that one out. A piece of something fell down in there. You can kind of see it sitting off to the side there. So I've been trying to devise a way to get that out. What I've come up with, I've added a piece of vinyl tubing to this hand vac. I'm going to slip that all the way down in there, see if we can get it out. Okay, we got it. Sucked it out clean. So here we are finishing up plug 2, torquing it to 20 foot-pounds using the same rig, basically 15 inches of extension. I got this injector here, getting in there with both hands. Here it is. One hand on one side, on the catch on one side, because I couldn't squeeze it and pull it at the same time. Then reach the other hand around from this side, right here where my thumb is. I was able to pull it out that way. So now we've got everything unplugged, because for the rear coil, the injector that's next to that one isn't really in the way at all. So actually we're going to catch a break on that part. Okay, so our zip ties our cables are actually, they're in the way now, so I'll cut this off. Okay, to get at this third screw here, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to get in there, because our socket and extension bar is blocked by this device that's on this fuel line here, some kind of regulator, switch, something here. You can't get at the coil hold down screw the way we did on the other ones on this one. I'm going to do the far back one right now, and I've just got a little 7mm box end wrench. I'm able to reach it. I couldn't find a way to get a socket in here because there's just low overhead, but this does work. There, it's loose. And now I'm just going to have to do this tedious with a wrench, turning it out till I can possibly get a finger, start turning it out with my fingers. I don't even know if I can get in there anyway that way. So that's the coil on the very back one. I'm going to do the third one after this, just to see if it gives me a little bit more room to turn a wrench. And so I am able, sitting on top of the engine now, to get my left hand down in here. And turn this screw out the rest of the way by hand. Okay. Now I've got to make sure I don't lose the screw. Getting it back in is going to be fun too. Okay, with the screw out, I'm going to see if we can get this coil through here, through this maze. And there it is. Okay, that's the far back one. What I've decided to do to make it easier to get the wrench under on this third one is cut this electrical tape that's taping this wiring harness down to this little piece that it's mounted in, so that we can lift the harness up and get a wrench underneath there. Okay, so on this third one, I've been able to get this last coil screw or bolt loose, whatever you want to call it, by getting my little wrench underneath the wiring harness and turning the mounting screw bolt. Okay, get that the rest of the way, hopefully by hand. Okay, on this rearmost plug, rearmost driver's side, we're able to get our spark plug socket down in there, surprisingly. So now I've got 15 inches of extensions. I have a swivel on here. I have a 12 down there, a swivel, and a 3 here. Half inch. I'm trying to... Okay, it's starting to come. Okay, here's a better position for this final spark plug. Got it situated between a couple of hoses. And we should be able to install straight in without using a swivel. Okay, I'm putting this rearmost plug back in. And here is a case where, I'm not gonna, I do normally like to put a torque wrench on here. I'm not gonna get one in here. Okay, I've got the coil pack back in there. Just take care when you put the screw in, so you don't drop it or cross thread it. This one can be particularly extremely difficult to deal with. It became cross threaded. In fact, I'm even going to put a little bit of lubricant, a little bit of anti-seize on there to make it go in smoother, because it does concern me. Okay, this is what I'm using to get this coil mounting screw to thread it through a very limited access area. This is just a little grabber tool that I can actually use to feed this through. It's just way back down in here. I just want to get it in the hole, so that's what I'm going to use, just to get it at least in the hole, and from there on we can turn it by hand. Okay, there it goes. Okay, we're in. So now we can just release it. So here I am, back on my stomach, on the engine, turning this turn at a time. I could not get my fingers in there for anything. Once we got this broken loose here, I'm able to reach it. Do the old finger turn out. See it down there? Hard to see. This one may not be as hard to put in as the other one was. Alright, there it comes. Got that out, so... Okay, let's see how this second from the back coil comes out. There's a lot of overhead. It's sticking in there pretty good. Turn it. I'm tugging on it pretty good. The rubber is resisting me. Okay, we finally broke it free. Oh, we have a problem on this one. The boot separated. So I've got a needle nose in there now, and I'm twisting the heck out of this. Trying to get it to break loose from where it's stuck. Man, that thing's just in there good. Okay, so I sprayed some blaster down in here. Some penetrant. Now I've got a needle nose pliers. I mean, this thing is really in there. There it comes. There it is. So I guess the blaster was the key. We'll see if we can save this thing or if we have to replace it now. Okay, so we got this out with the penetrant soaking for a while, and now I'm just cleaning it out. Getting all the penetrant off the inside of the boot. The boot's intact. You know, it looks like it's going to fit back on here. Okay, I'm not too concerned about it, so we'll just get it back in place and install it. Okay, so let's put these together. It just twists on there and rotate it a little bit. Okay, looks like it's going to be okay. I'm going to reuse it. And one thing that I'm going to do is put an ohm meter across these two electrical connections here and make sure it's about 1.4 ohms. Just make sure it didn't get damaged. So what I'm doing to clean this, it's got a piece of cloth on the end of my tool here, on the end of my grabber tool. I'll just run that down in there. Swab the spin it around and swab that spark plug hole a little bit, get that penetrant out of there. And a couple of turns in there. Look at how dirty it is. Okay. So then the final thing we'll do before we pull the plug is run our little vacuum cleaner with the piece of vinyl tubing on that fits into there nicely. Clean it out the rest of the way and then pull the plug. Okay, to get this third one, we're going in with, you know, like a 12-inch plus a 3. It's got to be a good 15 inches. You want to go in. Yeah, we're down in between these two rubber hoses and this exhaust pipe. This pipe that goes to the exhaust. With our 15 inches gives us about enough height to get this plug out. There it goes. Always take very small turns on these because they're in there pretty good. Don't want to overstress them. That should be it. I'll wiggle it some. You want the spark plug. And it didn't. Here it is. Okay, so I'm finishing up the install on this one. I'm going to give that, since I can reach a torque wrench in here, I'm going to do this one with a torque wrench. Okay, so we're placing the final coil pack in there. So we'll rotate it around, get it into position, get it seated down good. Put the screw in there. And of course, plug it in. So we used a gripper tool here again to get this in. Unfortunately, I didn't record the actual moment of getting it in place, but you get the concept. Okay, I'm turning this in now with this 7mm box end, just a turn at a time. There's not much way to get any other tool in there that I've been able to get in there anyway. But I'm just going to continue this until I get it torqued down. Then we'll plug it in and finish putting the rest of the parts and pieces back on this F150. Okay, so this thing's gone on long enough. Let's just quickly, and plugging this back in. Remember this bracket right here. Put that back in place. And then this one on top. Alright. So thanks for watching this rather interesting, challenging job of changing spark plugs on this 5.4 liter Ford F150. Hope it came out good for you. Thanks for watching.